Hey there, pop girlies.
Whoa.
Whoa, that was
What?
awesome.
They, you know, it was recorded. So dropping
Levi's
on
Levi's
iTunes
first
soon.
line, Levi's first line of every episode is the attempt at Levi to make a Pop Girlies jingle.
Yeah, with no planning.
So yeah, it's like we're testing it out. We're seeing what people respond to the best. So,
Yeah.
Uh, how are the pop girlies this fine Tuesday evening?
oh, we're doing lovely.
Yeah, we're doing good.
If you can't tell, I sound a little different. I'm still a little congested. I was under the weather over the weekend, so I still feel like I sound a little funny. So there's that for our
I don't think you
listeners.
sound funny.
I literally think you sound normal.
Yeah, I
Really?
think you sound normal too.
Oh, well, maybe it's just like a thing because my voice is coming out of my own face that I can feel it differently because I'm
Yeah, I
congested.
think we're more
Oh,
sensitive when it's ourselves. Like I know that like
Yeah.
yeah.
when I feel like I'm congested, I think I sound like a cuckoo person, but then other people tell me
Yeah.
I sound fine.
Yeah. That's funny.
But I think you sound good, Maria.
Well, that's great. Lovely. How about you, Drew?
We're doing good.
Oh,
What? We're doing good.
well, that's great.
Yeah.
Ready to
That's
talk about this amazing album.
that's what we want to hear. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, everyone just stood up and
Yeah.
clapped. Everyone on the
Do you
planet just
know what
clapped.
that is?
Everyone.
Does everyone know what that's a reference to? That
No.
yes. That's one of my favorite videos of all time. It's that video from Hillary Clinton and Chelsea Clinton's TV show when they're interviewing this like 90-year-old French clown and and Hillary Clinton is like, "So Philippe, is there a difference for women in comedy versus men in comedy? Can they do the same things?" And then this clown goes, "Well, comedy is okay. Clown is more difficult." And then she goes, "Yes."
Oh my God.
That is the most niche thing I think I've heard in like months.
Yeah, I was
It
gonna
was
say that's the
it's the
most
greatest.
like hyper specific thing I've ever heard in my life.
uh, oh, well, I
Well, I'm
recommend
just saying like
those.
that's just like what a nugget of wisdom you just shared, you
Do
know?
you guys I see that video on Twitter all the time. Do you guys not?
I no.
No, I've never seen that in my life.
Oh my God, I'll send it to you afterwards. It's so
Thank
good.
goodness.
Um, okay, who wants to start hot track time?
Levi, why don't you start?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I was conflicted the last few days about what my hot track would be because obviously we just finished our Madonna decathlon double feature and I'm like, are we doing too much of the Queen Honey? And then I realized I just have to be true to my heart, and you can never have too much of the Queen Honey. And
True to your
I have
heart and true to your art.
true to my, yep. And I
Yes,
have
Dita
had
La Vida.
such a de la vida. I've been having such an American life mode the last few days.
Oh,
Like
girl, we know.
I'm so deep into American life. And so it's literally just like, what American life song am I gonna pick? I think right now in the moment, my heart is saying Nothing Fails as my hot
Oh,
track, which I kind of think is like the centerpiece of the album. And it's like the most like gorgeous love song. And there's a choir, and it has one of my favorite Madonna lyrics ever, which is I climbed the tree of life, and that is why I'm no longer scared if I fall, which I love that lyric. And like I'm not religious,
What is Levi
but I
bait?
feel so moved. It's so Levi Bait. It's very,
oh,
very Levi Bait. Yeah. Um,
it's so good.
so that's me.
I
Drew.
listened. I
Oh, sorry, Maria,
no, I
you
was gonna
go.
say, I mean, like American Life, like we've been talking about it so much. Literally earlier this evening, I listened to the entire album while I cooked dinner. Like straight through, no
I
skips.
think I've listened to the entire album today 4 times.
Like,
I'm not
Today,
kidding.
yeah.
today the Pop Girlies group chat was on fire with American life references.
Well,
Yeah.
everything should be on fire with American Life references. No, I
Yeah.
literally texted Maria and Drew, do I buy a $50 eBay special edition box set of American Life?
Girl, and it was 60.
It was 60?
And it's a CD.
It's a
Yeah.
CD.
Do you have a CD player?
I have a car.
Oh, well, that's true. Portable CD player.
I need something American Life. I need it.
Yeah, and she
May-
doesn't have enough
Yeah.
merch about it.
She
Like,
does
there's
not have
no
any merch
merch.
Well,
American Life.
and
That's
they
such a
don't make
shame.
like, does she make vinyls for all of her albums still or no?
Yeah, I know that there's an American Life vinyl, so maybe I'll just do that. But I
I don't
wanted
know.
something
That
But
like
the
box set
box
that
set
you
has the
sent looked
poster.
cool.
I
Yeah.
wanted something like vintage of the time, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
and well, like with like a new repressing of it on vinyl it would probably be the same price, if not more, than the box set anyway.
That's
Yeah.
true.
And you're right about that.
You're
You're
totally
to
right.
Guys, should I buy a American Life limited poster edition vinyl for $400 on eBay?
Now that's a steal.
That's available.
That one, let's keep in the back pocket for now.
Right.
Maybe do a bid for a little less.
Should I
See if it heats up.
I'll give you a nickel. I have $5.
I have a
So
podcast.
that's me.
Well, that's everything.
That's yeah. I'm
Yeah.
so happy you're living for that.
I'm drinking so many soy lattes. So
With double lattes.
with double lattes. Okay.
Amazing.
Drew, give us your hot
Yes.
track.
For my hot track, I've been listening to a lot of music as of recent. I've listened to a lot of different things. So it was really hard for me to choose, but I wanted to choose something that I haven't really talked about much on the pod. I've been listening to a lot of musical theater songs, and so I'm listening to a lot. The musical adaptation of The Notebook is a show that I love a lot. And so I wanted to mention probably my favorite song from the cast recording, and it is called Forever. Yeah, it's like the famous if any of the Pop Girlies listeners have seen The Notebook, the film, it's the scene where they kind of confess their love for each other and it starts pouring down rain.
Oh,
So yeah, if you want the kind of imagery to go along with the song, if you care to listen,
oh my
that's it.
gosh.
Yeah.
Well, that's lovely.
Play.
Wait, Drew, did you see it twice? Once on Broadway, twice on
I
Broadway?
saw it. Yeah, so it did its out of town tryout before Broadway in Chicago. So I saw it there and then I saw it when I moved to Broadway too. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that's
It was so
awesome.
good. And Ingrid Michaelson, who wrote I don't really know her other songs. Girls Chase Boys, Chase Girls.
Yes.
She did all the music. The Way I Am, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so she did all the music. So the music is like amazing. And yeah, my like favorite actor, John Cardoza's in it, who the Pop Girlies have heard all about.
Oh, naturally. Who I
Yeah.
also had the pleasure of seeing in person when we saw Moulin
Yeah.
Rouge.
Right. Yep. And
Yeah.
the smoke of the do you remember the smoke at the
Oh
end
my
of
God,
Act
at
One?
Moulin Rouge. Oh
I
my
told Levi
God.
about that and he like almost peed his pants.
It was
Yeah, it's
insane.
funny.
And just so the listeners know, we were sat at like the tables right at the lip
The
of the stage.
can table
The
seating.
can tables for those in the know. And at the end of Act One, it ends, and then there's just like a flood of smoke that kind of billows off the stage. So then we're in like the splash zone of all of this smoke. And then one of the women that was sitting next to us like could not handle it and then was like trying to like actually escape. It was like really intense. It was a really intense situation. And I was like, I
Yeah.
felt bad because like there was no way for us to know that we were going to
Yeah.
be like obliterated by all of this like smog. But it was a
Yeah.
situation for real.
Honestly,
So,
though, the funniest part of that was not that she stood up. It was when she sat down and like the can table seating is like enclosed. So they have to have like a security guard like sat there just to make sure like no one like jumps on the stage and like does something stupid. And the security guard, as soon as the act one ended and the lights went up, he goes, "That's the only time that happens, so don't worry about it anymore." Like he knew that like
oh
everyone would
yeah.
be traumatized.
I remember that now. That was so funny.
But yeah. But yeah, if you're in New York and like want something to see and don't really like theater that much, honestly, Moulin Rouge is like my best recommendation.
Oh yeah,
So
it's lovely.
yeah, it's great.
Lovely.
Okay, Maria.
Yes. Well, my hot track is actually a cover of a song by a newer musical act. And I heard this song in one of my friend's cars the other day, and it's by the band The Last Dinner Party,
Oh, I know
which,
them.
yeah, I listened to
They're
their
opening for
album.
Olivia Rodrigo.
Oh my God, that's so fitting.
She's touring still?
She's doing like a festival run in the summer. I think she's doing Hyde Park or something, and they're opening for her.
Okay.
That's tea.
Okay.
Well, yeah. So it's this band, The Last Dinner Party, who is like super interesting. They're like very like they're very like fit into one specific aesthetic. So I'm kind of interested to see what they'll do after like in their next album because they seem very like pigeonholed into like doing one specific brand. But they're kind of like an indie pop rock kind of outfit. But they're really neat. I enjoyed their album. But this cover is them singing Wicked Game by Chris Isaac, which is an amazing song. I love that song so much. It was popularized because it was used in David Lynch's Wild at Heart, which is his movie with Laura Dern and Nicolas Cage. And David Lynch would go on to collaborate with Chris Isaac like a couple more times. But that song is amazing, and that's what gave it like such a popularity. And this cover of it's so good. It was also a live cover, and the recording sounds amazing for it being live. Vocals, instrumentation, all of that. But it's really, really good, and they keep it pretty true to the original recording, but they do add some of their own like flair to it, and it's very apparent, and I think it's just an incredible quality cover of a really great song without messing with it too much. So that's my hot track.
Yay.
Yay.
Yay!
Fun.
Well, Drew, do you want to start sharing
Yeah.
some secrets?
Yeah,
Okay.
I guess you have some secrets to share.
Yeah.
I, I don't know what
The
that was.
secret. So this week, The Secret of Us is the album that we will be talking about by Gracie Abrams. It is her second.
Cheering.
Oh, it is her second studio album. Um, and it was released last year, June 21st, 2024. It is 13 tracks and it's 47 minutes long, so pretty standard. And then the deluxe version, which we'll kind of talk about today, like we wanted to talk about all of the songs with the project. And the deluxe version came out October 18th, 2024, which was four new songs and then three live renditions of songs as well. Um, and I would categorize the genre. I found it really interesting. A lot of people categorize it as country pop, which I thought was really stupid. I don't think that it's country pop at all.
Who the
Like
hell's calling it?
Wikipedia, it's like it's country pop.
Well, that's
Like
just
country
not
pop was the
true
first one.
because it's just not country at all.
It's not. So I would categorize it as like indie pop. That's ex there's like some folk influences, I guess you could say, but like no. Not country. Uh, so yeah, she worked with on this album, she worked with Aaron Dessner for that he was like the primary collaborator, which was the other her first album, Good Riddance, was also done exclusively with Aaron. And then her writing partner for most of the album was Audrey Hobart. I believe is how you pronounce her name. Um, who is like a really good friend of hers, and they were just like really close best friends, and she just had her write a lot of the songs with her on the album, which I thought was really cool. There are some other I don't remember the person's name. Levi probably remembers who was on Close to You. What's
I don't,
the
I
producer's
don't know
name?
his name.
I don't know either. But So that track has a different producer. Aaron did not do that. And then on the track Us, um, Taylor Swift and Jack Antonoff are collaborators on that song. And then Taylor Swift obviously is a featured artist. So really cool. Um, the kind of promotional of it, she was kind of hinting at it. She did an interview like early last year where she just said she had music to release and she wanted to release it. Um, but she didn't actually release the first song from the project, which was Risk, until May 1st. And then Close to You came out June 7th. And then the album came out June 21st. So from the first kind of um mention of the album as a project, it was a short kind of promotional span. And then this is kind of coming from her being on the Eras tour as well. So the year prior, she was touring on as an opener for the Eras tour with the Good Riddance songs. And then she took a break from the Eras tour as an opener and then came back to finish out all of the shows with the Secret of Us song. So it's kind of cool how that kind of happened. And then Taylor was also on the album. So it's like really cool how that kind of manifested for her. The ultimate Tay daughter, which we were talking about earlier. And then she also toured the album on her own. She did like a few show. I think she did like 20 shows in the fall. So right before the deluxe version came out, she toured, which I got to go to, which was a really great show. She's so great live. And then she's actually touring overseas now and then coming back and doing like arena shows, which is really cool. So yeah, this has like been a huge kind of commercial breakthrough for her. Um, because even like for Good Riddance, her first album, when Levi and I saw her, she was doing like I think it was like House of Blues. So
House
like
of Blues,
it
small.
was like a year and a half ago, probably, right?
Hmm.
Like so yeah, really cool. And then Maria and I saw her. I dragged Maria to see her like senior year of college, like before Good
Yeah.
Riddance even came out. So, and that was at the
Yeah.
Metro. So,
Yes.
yeah, so she's definitely come a long way. I love seeing that for her. The album debuted at number 2 on the Billboard chart, and the best performance that attracted was actually That's So True. Um, when the deluxe version came out, it peaked at number 6. So yeah, so that I thought was really cool. It got an 80%, it got an 80%, it's at 80. Do you say percent? Or it just the score on Metacritic, is it a percent? Or do you
No, because it's not a
No,
percent.
it's
I,
just an
I would just
80.
say,
The score is an
yeah.
80. It got generally positive reviews. And she got nominated for a Grammy for Us. It got nominated in Pop Duo Group Performance. The album is conceptually, I think it's a very like sad heartbreak breakup album, is how I would describe it. There's a lot of it kind of spans through this kind of relationship that she's going through, which is very heavily rumored to be about Dylan O'Brien. They were rumored to be dating the year prior. Um,
I just had a
and
crazy face crack because I was going to ask, like,
That's
do we
Gag
know
City,
who
isn't it? It's Gag
that was
City.
so Gag City. I was
Yeah.
going to ask and I was just gonna assume that like we didn't know who this was all about. And I mean, you said heavily rumored, so it's not like it's confirmed or anything, but that's crazy.
it's
That just
like
gagged
I
me.
would say it's like 99% confirmed,
Like
but
Whoa.
it's not confirmed in the sense that she has not said this album is about Dylan O'Brien,
Right.
but it's
Was it like super
um
public? Oh my God, excuse me.
no, that's the
Public.
thing. They weren't very heavily publicized. I think honestly because I think honestly they weren't very publicized just because he was kind of in the Taylor Swift kind of metaverse because he was in the All
Right.
Too Well film,
Right. Right. Right.
and then
Right.
he also like was writing with Taylor in Midnight's era. So like he played the drums on like Lavender Haze and like all of that stuff.
he
Oh my
So
clapped
God.
during
like
Question. He clapped during
yeah.
Question.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Wow.
So so yeah, it's kind of
All of
weird.
that made me like trip up over my words. That's how gagged I
Yeah.
was.
So I'm gonna tell this funny story because this is the perfect time to do
Please.
it. So I was so Levi and I were texting about the album because I don't know. I think when I was first listening to it, I didn't think it was gonna be so like Heartbreak City. Like I didn't think it was gonna be like some of what we'll get into, I guess. But she definitely goes in on this man. And I was texting Levi. I was like, who did this to her? And Levi, why don't you tell the Pop Girlies Nation what you responded?
No,
Best
because
text Levi's
I
ever
feel like
said.
I don't know the wording. You say the wording because I feel like I'll
I don't know the
paraphrase.
exact wording
Well,
either,
let me find it. It'll take me 2 seconds.
but the way that I laughed out loud when I read this text,
Okay, Drew said, "Who did this to her? Me. Whoever it is, I'm sending them flowers."
yeah,
And
it may not have
and
hit as funny on the pod,
I
but
think well, I think specifically that was after a certain song.
yeah,
You know the one. You know who.
you know who.
Maria might not know
Actually,
who.
I might not.
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, all of that. I mean,
I'm sending messages to Drew.
oh,
Do you know
oh,
who I'm talking about?
We're speaking in codes.
down.
No, I didn't want you to say what it was.
Oh, no,
That's the whole
yeah.
reason why I was speaking in a code.
Oh my
Oh, right.
God.
Yeah, that. Okay, we'll
That's
get
what it
into it. So
was.
yeah, I mean, like some of these songs. I mean, we should have known from the title, like "Tough Love," "I Knew It, I Know You," "I Love You, I'm Sorry." Like, felt good about you. We should have known, but it's she goes to town on this man. So yeah, but that's kind of all that I wrote out. But yeah, it's heavily rumored to be about Dylan O'Brien, and then we kind of get a little taste of um that she's kind of moved on in the deluxe tracks. Um, like the deluxe track ends with Packing It Up, which is kind of a love song about like finding a new person and thinking that she was packing it up, but now she's moved on and found someone else, which is heavily rumored, obviously, to be about her new boo thing, Paul Mescal. So yeah, that's kind of all it's this is gonna be obviously more of like a what you thought of it kind of thing. Because we haven't really uh gotten to see much like retrospect of this album because it's still fairly new.
Mhm.
But yeah, really happy to see this album on Pop Girlies.
Yay,
Woo.
me
Thank you,
too.
So yeah.
Drew.
Okay,
Well, who do you want to go
So
first?
let's do Maria first, because I know what Levi thinks. We're
hmm
gagging. We're Gag City.
Yeah.
Look, this is me. This is me gagging.
This is me gagging. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm delighted to go first. And literally we were talking about this earlier, but literally the first thing I wrote down was Tay Daughter, because this is very much in the Taylor Swift universe of sounds. I mean, you can tell that it's produced by Jack and Aaron. Like it's just in the same environment of the
Well,
sounds that they produce.
only us is Jack. Jack's not on any of the other ones.
Well, sure. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
just saying like he's
you're
involved.
right. I got you. I
Yeah.
got you. I got you.
I got you. I got you. I got you. But all I want to say is, and I'll start this off with saying, I get it. I understand this. And I was a little bit nervous coming into it. And not because I'm on the same wave of all of the haters, because we've already talked about the unwarranted hate that Gracie Abrams gets.
Which is
We've talked about it.
stupid. It makes no sense.
It's really ridiculous and it's a reach. It's a reach. And it's just people who haven't listened to it being like, well, let's just hate. What are we going to hate on? We need to find something to hate. So, like, simply put, it's a reach. But and again, I was nervous going into this because I knew it wasn't going to be like my ultimate tea. And this really isn't what I like gravitate towards the most. But with that being said, obviously, listen to it with an open mind. And I think I listened to this like 4 times all the way through.
Yes.
Yes! And I get it and I understand this and I like it, much, much more than I thought I ever would have because it gave me such a strong sense of nostalgia. Like this entire album feels really, really reminiscent sonically of like summers when you are growing up. Like it, I felt it really deep in like my stomach when I was listening to it. I was just like, whoa, like this crazy wave of nostalgia came over me. And I'm just like, wow, I really like the environment of what this sounds like. And it's different from folklore, even though you could say on the surface that they sound really similar, because they do, but it's different. And this just gives me such a different feeling and such a different vibe. And I just ended up really liking it so much more than I was expecting to. So, wanted to kind of talk about that a little bit. But you can tell that this, in my brain, this was kind of a combination of like three artists and what her sound kind of gives me. It's very Taylor, obviously. It's also giving me some Phoebe Bridgers, and it
Yes.
also gives me some Sufjan Stevens.
Oh, I hear that.
Oh, yeah.
I hear that.
Yeah, it also
Specifically
gives,
like Carrie and Lowell. I hear that a lot.
yeah, like us,
Lowell,
like
it's Lowell.
Lowell, yeah,
Girl, I don't know.
yeah. But like us, the song, like that starts and you're like, this is Sufjan Stevens. And it's just like, ooh, I love that. But, and I think some of the hate comes from people being like, well, she just sounds like this and she sounds like that and it's not original and blah, blah, blah. This is very much original music, but I think that our age demographic kind of just needs to accept that we are old enough to have popular artists in the mainstream sound like artists that we listened to growing up. Be in like there's
Totally.
a
That's it.
direct influence.
That's it. Oh, you
Yes,
clocked that.
That's so true.
that's so
That's
You're
true.
totally right.
true.
And you're
I
right about
mean,
that.
oh, that's true.
You're totally right.
You're totally right. And you're right about that. But that's exactly what it is. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is because it's just what it is. I can't even, yes, it's true.
Yes. Yes. Like we just need to accept that because now we're at the age where a lot of artists that are super popular are actually younger than us. Like, I mean, for us three in particular, like, I mean, Billie Eilish is younger than us. And my
Olivia
only
Rodrigo's younger than
Olivia
us.
Rodrigo, and my only other example is Benson Boone because I just learned that he's younger than us.
Jojo Siwa.
JoJo's, sure. I mean, let's throw her in there, sure. But again, it's just like we now are consuming art by the people who grew up on the exact same stuff as us, which is kind of a unique experience for us, for our age. So I think that's why people are very quick to be like, well, this sucks because it sounds like this plus this plus this. It's like, well, no. Like, I mean, it's going to be original work. It's like no one's copying and pasting and getting rich and famous off of that. Like, come on. Like use your brain a little bit. And if you don't care to, then fine. Like just accept something that's it's not for you and move on. Like
But
we
that's
don't
how
need to
art
just
is
hate.
made. Art is like a confluence of like someone's like original thought plus the influences that drive them and inspire
Yeah.
them. Like
Yeah.
that is what art is. That's how artists operate. Artists do not create in a vacuum.
Exactly. Exactly. So yeah, so I feel like that's my
Maria, that's such a good point. I can't even get over that. Like that is I think that's the best point you've ever had on the show. That is
Oh my
so true.
God.
Because
That's so
it's
true.
exactly what I have felt in my being and in my body and in my blood, but I just have never articulated it before. But that's it.
Yeah.
That's the
Oh,
answer. Everyone else go home. You solved the problem.
thank you. Oh my
I also
gosh.
think that explains a lot of Olivia Rodrigo lashings as well.
Right.
It's just, yes, I
Yeah,
could
because
go on
everyone's like,
forever.
okay, well, Olivia Rodrigo is Paramore. And it's like, well, slow your roll. Just give it a try. If you think it sounds like something you like, then just give it a try.
The thing is that it's so there's a difference between saying this is oh Olivia Rodrigo just wrote a Taylor Swift song or she just copied Misery Business versus oh you can tell this was written by somebody who loves Taylor Swift. Like that
Right.
those are different statements. This is something world called nuance.
Right.
Ooh, I know we don't like that, but it's true.
Yeah.
Well, and it's
And then
also, yeah,
oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
it's also so frustrating to like for this to be the reason that people don't like other artists. Because it's like for artists like Gracie and Olivia that we've kind of referenced, like they've clearly been they're clearly like Tay daughters. I mean, Olivia's like questionable now, obviously, because everyone like is thinking about their beef. But like at the
Estranged,
time of their come
estranged.
up, at the time of their come up, like Taylor was like in approval of both of them. So it's like it shouldn't be this kind of like war or something. I don't know.
Well, and I
Like,
also just think it's like used to discredit them, and like that
yeah,
feels not to be like the ultimate like Swiftie card, because I know this is what Swifties are accused of doing all the time, but you don't really hear these conversations happening about young male artists. It
right.
I mean, yeah.
typically is young female artists. I mean, just any way to discredit a woman, specifically a young woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, exactly. And then it's like
Bullshit.
when you think back to like I don't know, the early 60s when the Beatles basically made the same song 80 times and then every other band was making the same song over and over again and that's just the same music got produced over and over again. It's like we live in a time where we have so much diversity in music and I mean, there's going to be pockets and genres where people like the same stuff and it sounds all in the same family in the same universe because it is. Like that's just what it is. So,
But the other thing too is like this kind of music is so storytelling based and it's so
yeah.
narrative driven, and these narratives are Gracie. You can see the influences, you can see where like, oh, like you know that she loves the Taylor Swift bridge. You listen to this album and you're like, oh, I can tell that this informed the way that you create bridges. But like this imagery is very distinctly her to me. Her lyrical
Yeah.
voice is
Totally.
very unique. Like I think like you can tell the influences, but she has a specific, unique voice, and that's why I'm drawn to her, and I think that's why a lot of people are drawn to her.
Right. Absolutely. Love it. Well,
Oh,
that was
you just
my
nailed that, Queen.
Yeah, you nailed that.
thank you. Thank you. Well, that was my like philosophical soapbox, if you will. But yeah, I mean, like other than that, I liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to. I really enjoyed the storytelling. And yeah, it kind of got me in my feels a little bit. I mean like preparing for the episode, I was like listening to it again. I turned on all like the mood lighting in my room and I was just like, "Whoa." I haven't like sat with an album in this kind of way in a long time and I was like really feeling it.
Yeah.
But I
Especially
mean,
towards the middle there.
oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Girl.
But yeah, I mean just like the feeling of nostalgia it gave me was just like so strong and it really just made me think of like summer sunsets kind of vibe of just like being younger.
Specifically, I get that with "I Love You, I'm Sorry."
I was
Like
gonna
that
say, have
feeling
you
that,
seen the I Love You, I'm
yes,
Sorry
the
video?
video, like what you're describing is the "I Love You, I'm
Is the
Sorry" video.
video.
Yeah, no, I watched both of them. Yeah, I watched the
Oh,
wrist
the way
one.
she like hangs out the window. Come
Yeah,
And
like
on.
it's
okay,
just
and
the
that was
vibe.
a clip that Twitter used to drag her, and every single
Yeah.
time it would be on my timeline, I'm like, she is eating.
She looks gorgeous in that video
She
too.
looks
Oh,
gorgeous.
she
She's being
does.
fun and silly, and the song's great. What the hell?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I could talk about it for a
Yeah.
while, but it's ridiculous how people are just like, we're gonna hate it for no reason. It's like, all right, whatever. But yeah, I think those are really all of my thoughts, but I'm so glad that I understood it. And again, I was nervous coming into it, but I'm glad I had some critical things to take away from it. And yeah, I think it's going to have a lot more re-listenability for me than I had initially thought. And again, I imagine maybe one of you are going to talk about it. But the visuals, everyone on Twitter was like, we hate the visuals and the album cover sucks and all of it sucks. But I think it's fun and cool. So
I love the visuals.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
wanted
don't
to
know
speak on
how I
that too.
feel about them, to be honest with you.
Oh,
They have a
I
lot of
love the font.
I love the
Font
font
great.
too, and they have a lot of personality. They're not my favorite visuals in the world, and I guess it's not like me disliking them. I don't think they're the strongest visuals for this album. Like I don't, sometimes you look at an album and you're like, this is the only way that this could look. Like I think that about
Right.
the original Red photo shoot. That photo shoot to me is so tied to that music where it's impossible for me to listen to that music without seeing those images in my head. Like, yes, Taylor is in this like Tennessee wood with the big green grass and she's wearing these like vintage dresses. Like, that is that album. This I think there are other visual worlds that this could exist in, and I would have been curious. Honestly, I would have loved something more like the outtakes rather than what ended up being like the main photo shoot, like kind of what Maria has as her background, the risk artwork, and like the stuff with like the painted like sky background. I think that's a lot more interesting and more in line visually with what the music gives me than the quirky faces in front of the white background. The it's fun, but I'm just kind of like, okay, girl. Like it's giving very much the meme of like Kelsey, the real Kelsey. Do you know what that is? Like the
Yes.
girl who's sitting on the ape, and then the real Kelsey, she's like pinching the nipple, or like that girl,
The with the bag of chip.
the girl with the bag of chips in her is like, she's so crazy. I love her. Like that's what this is giving to me.
Kelsey, the real Kelsey.
I remember when she was promoting Risk, she did a talk show or something, and when he was asking her like why the cover looks like that, she was talking about how like the album felt like so much more vulnerable than like anything that she had ever put out, and she wanted it to be like close up face kind of, and that's what she was going
Mm.
for. Um, so yeah, I don't know if that helps explain or
Well, okay, that's just in. Well, I'm gonna save my thoughts for when
okay,
it's my
yeah.
turn.
Save it. And you know
Yeah.
what? It might be your turn right now.
Oh my
Who
God.
knows?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's really all I had to say. So
So
I
it
think
is
I
my
do.
turn.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
you have
that's
one
your
more
turn.
thing.
Well, okay. Well, all I was gonna say to wrap it up is I think it is interesting when album covers have an artist like existing in a liminal space, and I thought it was really interesting that she chose all white for the background. But I mean, I totally resonate with what you're saying, Levi, as well when it comes to the cover. But yeah, please, let's hear your thoughts.
Well, first of all, I'm so happy that you liked it. I mean, I was a
Yeah,
little
this
nervous
is
going
gag.
in because it's just not Maria Bait. Like
No.
No,
it very
it's
much.
not.
I knew that you liked it though because you were sending lyrics and gifs in the group
Yes.
chat, and I knew that you wouldn't have if you didn't like it. And like you did it like not just in like an isolated period of time, like you did it over like an extended amount of time.
Yeah.
So
She was
you
getting
know,
into the lore.
you were gagging the gag. So
hmm
that's how I knew that you liked it. And I'm really happy that you liked it because I think this is a really terrific album. I love this album. So I think I've talked about my history with Gracie on the pod before. Yeah, started as like a hardcore hater and then Drew evangelized and converted me with this is what it feels like. Then I was like, oh, actually I'm a biggest idiot of all time. Like she's actually incredible. And I've been here for every release since. I've seen her live a few times. I saw her with Drew at House of Blues, and then I saw her open on the Eras tour, which was so good. Yeah, and I love this album, and I was so excited for it to come out. And I think it's a really terrific record. I think it's a really, really great album. I think for me, and this, I want to talk about this first before I kind of get into more like granular stuff. So it's interesting, this like what you guys are talking about, this like the vulnerability of it, and like the references to it being like a heartbreak album and like a sad album, because like it very much is. But it's interesting because in my mind, I guess I don't see it as much like that because of the works that have come before this, and like Good
Yeah.
Riddance and This Is What It Feels Like are a lot heavier albums. And like when I'm thinking about like, dude, the thing that you just said about vulnerability, like it's so interesting that she thinks that when a song like Camden exists
Yeah.
from This Is What It Feels Like, which if those of you who don't know that song, it's a incredibly vulnerable, brutally honest song about mental health. And like there are a lot of moments where it gets like, oh, like "Ooh, oh my God,
Yeah.
this is sad." And so for me, the thing that really makes up the character of The Secret of Us in my mind is the vibrancy of it. Like so much of Gracie's music prior to this has existed in like grayscale for me, or like blues and like cloudiness. especially Good Riddance. Good Riddance, I mean, that album cover is this like very like grainy black and white photo that has this like kind of like double hazy version of
Yeah,
Gracie. And like that exactly captures to me what that album feels like. That album is gray in my mind completely. And this album, and I felt it from the second Risk, the lead single came out with those super like rhythmic, upbeat guitar strums, and like she's singing at this accelerated tempo. She's always had a great sense of melody, but I think her melodic chops are fully on display here in a way that they maybe haven't been in a long time, maybe
totally.
since
Yeah.
like Minor. I mean, it's like
Yeah,
they're so good, and it feels so full of life in a way that I think prior albums had it. And like there's like a playfulness to this music, I think. Even in the sad moments, she's a like blowing smoke to me is an example of this. That song is really sad. That's a really sad song. If you look just lyrically, like the situation that she's describing, the way that like she's feeling like discarded by this man, Dylan O'Brien, and the way that he like just goes through girls and uses them and isn't really getting invested in them, and the way that he like is manipulative and showboats, like the bridge, this like imagery of like him impressing her by like smoking a
yeah,
cigarette while reading a book, and she was so impressed, but now she feels dirty about it. Like that's really sad. But it has such this like drive to it, and there's a life to the music. And so it's just funny because I guess in my mind, I never really stopped and realized this is a heartbreak record because when I think Gracie Abrams' Heartbreak album, I think of Good Riddance, which is like, oh, we're not feeling good. We're not doing well. Call the psych ward. But I think that just, I guess that kind of gets into my next thought, which is I really love this album as a sign of evolution for her. You know, I was wondering a little bit with Good Riddance, like, where does she go from here? Like, it feels Good Riddance feels like an extension of This Is What It Feels Like, a bit folkier, but they very much kind of feel like I don't know if you agree, Drew, kind of like very
yeah,
similar sonically,
yeah.
thematically. Um,
Good Riddance just doesn't have like the pop kind of
yes,
influences
it's
that this is
just
what
the
it feels
folk.
like. Yeah,
Yes, absolutely. Because and this is what it feels like all the folk stuff comes from the Aaron songs,
yeah,
not and
exactly.
and what I love about this album is it feels like a step in a different direction while retaining that like core Gracie essence, the way that she writes songs, her personality, the way that she creates and crafts her lyrics. And I find that really exciting. Like, I think that this opens up, in my mind, her different avenues and different sounds and kinds of music that she can explore and create, which I find really exciting. And I always think it's cool to see somebody's like core identity work in different settings, and that's what this album does for me. I much actually prefer Aaron Dessner's production here than on Good Riddance. I think that there's a bit more variety, and it feels like. And again, I'm not shitting on Good Riddance because I love Good Riddance. I think it's a great album. Love that album a
Oh, we
lot.
stand.
But Good Riddance to me is it's just a bit more monochrome. And there's more variety here, even though it is still using the same palette. Like Maria highlighted the brightness of it, the summery vibes of it. Like this album has so much of that, um, which I really, really love. And then lyrically, you know, she's always been a great lyricist, but kind of like what I've been saying, again, I think this represents a step and an evolution. The density of some of these details that she's describing, and even in songs that maybe don't resonate for me as much, I still listen to them and I'm like, oh my God, that lyric is heartbreaking. Like, Good Luck Charlie is a song that I think I like probably more than most people, but like it's not near the top of the album for me. But when I was re-listening to the record a few days ago, the thing that she's talking about in the first verse of the guy having a picture of Audrey, is
Of
it Audrey or
Audrey,
Audrey in her
Audrey inside of
wallet?
your wallet.
And then the bartender thinks that she's dead, and then he has to like relive. Like I'm like, oh my God, that's an amazing lyric, and like
Yeah.
I've never heard that in a song before, and it's told with such economy, which is always one of my favorite kind of lyrics, when something can a lyric can say something in like not a lot of words or not a lot of lines, but like it packs such a punch and there's such a history and there's such a story there. And I think that is a great example of that. And just the imagery, the way that she's writing these songs. There's so many lines to me here that are just absolutely cutting. I think I'll probably get into that more specifically when we do our Holy Trinity because there will be some lyrics recited. Let me just say that. Uh, and I want, yeah, I mean, I don't want to have this devolve into me Googling lyrics and just reciting them because everyone can do that themselves. But again, just to kind of sum up, I guess, my thoughts on the album, it just is such a great step forward and it really excites me. And I think it's a really great record. I think it's crafted pretty immaculately. I think her vocal performance is lovely. That's another thing I want to touch on. I love her voice. I understand she does, I think, have symptoms of like indie girl voice, but it feels different than like I think what the kind of idea of an indie girl voice is like bananas and avocados, like that whole vine. It
Yeah.
feels there's a raspiness to her voice that I love, and she's so expressive with her voice. Beyond expressive. Like it feels to me when she sings that the emotions are just pouring out of her. And that I always imagine her like so close to the mic with her body kind of like convulsing and like just the sound is just like shooting and exploding out of her, which I love. I love that about her vocals. And I think she has a really pleasant voice to listen to and she's amazing live. She's amazing
Oh,
live.
amazing life.
She's amazing live. So,
Well, what Levi was saying about Good Riddance, like how you should have seen Levi and I at the very tip
oh,
top of the
yeah.
House of Blues
Literally the
dumping
highest bumping. Oh my God. Uh
the
I
I
feel
should
s-
hate you.
I should hate
I
you. I feel stupid like I almost crashed my car. The bridge
Levi
of
and
I
I
feel
were
stupid.
in
No, I should
there.
hate you. It's I should hate you. I should hate you.
Yeah,
That's the song. I should hate you. I feel stupid like I almost crashed my car. I remember exactly looking at Drew be like, "Oh my God. This is crazy."
yeah.
So that's what I have to say about the album. Love the album. Super happy that we're talking about it, and I'm happy that she's crossing over. There's always a fear with artists like this that have these niche fan bases, but are aiming for a crossover that like it's not going to happen. I mean, we talked about one a few weeks ago. Conan. I don't know if that crossover moment is going to happen for him, but I'm so happy that it's happening for Gracie and like the success of That's So True. I mean, was a top 10 hit in America, but was like a multi number one hit in the UK, which that song to me it's excellent, but like I don't like listen to that song once and be like, "Oh, this is a smash commercial hit," the way that I did when I heard Espresso for the first time. I mean, I hear Espresso and I'm like, "Yeah, that's going to be the most inescapable song for the next few months." And I think it's really cool. And it's a testament just to like the quality of songwriting and songcraft here that a song like That's So True, which is like a folk inspired indie pop song that is pretty acoustic, is a smash hit. I love that for her. So, yeah, just really happy for her. And, despite all the kind of unnecessary and unwarranted hate she gets, I'm happy that she's succeeding. And I love this album. So, that's me.
Yay.
Smash.
Smash.
Smash. So I'll just go into my kind of thoughts about it. I have loved her so much since 2021 was when I got into Minor, the EP, which sounds very different from where she has gotten here. Um, yeah, I really fell in love with her voice in Minor, like specifically her voice on the song Friend and 21. I love those two on Minor. But her production has kind of gone from this kind of like almost like Lord inspired, I would say, on Minor to like this folksy kind of thing that she's doing now, which I love. So I was like really anticipating this. I have, been through all the releases with her. And I was honestly, this is the album that I've been probably the most nervous to listen to from her, just because I know, um, like the idea of gatekeeping her has kind of gone away because of the Eras Tour kind of thing that she's gone on. And um, so I knew that like a lot of people who hadn't listened to her as long as me were listening to this, and it was kind of like annoying at first, but now I'm like, well, they're living and whatever. Um, so yeah, so I was like going in with a lot of hesitation almost. But I mean, this is like so amazing to me. Something that I love about it is she wrote a lot of it with her friend, which I feel like is really evident. Like,
Hmm.
um, I love the title, first of all. I love that it's called The Secret of Us because it's almost like because Good Riddance, like what Levi was saying, it's very vulnerable. She's like saying a lot of things that like she would tell maybe like a therapist or like that she would write in her diary. And like The Secret of Us feels like something that she would talk about with her friend. Like
Yes,
you feel
yes,
like you're with
yes.
her. And that's why I think she maybe feels like it's a little more close and more vulnerable. Um, so yeah, that's just something that I love that you can tell like a lot of the songs, like I Knew What I Know You feels like it's about like her expressing something to her friend, like her having a realization about this relationship that she's in with a friend. So I just love that. Um, so yeah. Uh and what oh, I got to go to the tour for this, which was so cool. She did such a good job of like kind of leveling up with the production value of the show. Um, so yeah, I was just so impressed with hearing the songs live. Um, specifically, like Gracie is someone that I feel like if you have a connection to the music, going and watching it being performed is like it will take you to a whole nother level. I felt that with all of the concerts I've seen her at. And even seeing her open, like I saw her open for Olivia Rodrigo and then I saw her open for Taylor. Like she's kind of one of those people where like if you do the homework, like the payoff is so great watching her perform. And I feel like that might be a little bit of how she gets kind of dogged on by the media because there have been some, releases of like live versions of some of the songs. The one I'm specifically thinking of is she did That's So True at like Radio City and they released it. And like there was a little bit of like crack and like it wasn't like the most perfect kind of vocal or anything. And I saw like the most hate about that. And I don't know, I just like it made me think like I don't think these people like really care about her or know her. And I don't think they have any sort of like connection to it. And I feel like watching her perform the songs and having that connection to it with the people that you're watching her with is like what makes it so good. As like with any concert, but like specifically with her. So yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to say. And I love the deluxe tracks too. So at the concert I went to, she actually played Cool before it was released on piano, which I honestly like highly preferred the piano version of the song over the production on the album. Um she's just able to like emote so much when she performs. And I love that about that. I felt like it was a little bit more restrained. But maybe she was going through something when she performed it. I don't know. Um, but yeah, I think most of my thoughts will come when we talk about individual songs. But I think, yeah. And do you guys love the live songs on the deluxe? Did you listen to those? Yeah.
Hmm.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. It's just tough. Like, I mean, none of the live versions make it into my like Holy
Yeah.
Trinity or anything, but they're super good. Like
Yeah.
they're similar enough, but they're also an interesting spin on the original version or the studio version at least. But I really enjoyed listening to them and I
Yeah.
almost didn't. And I'm really glad that I did. But it also made me, because I saw these and I'm like live from Vivo and I'm like, oh, Vivo
Yeah.
still exists? Where's Vivo? Who's running Vivo?
Girl, I
But
don't know.
yeah, that's what it made me think about. But I thought they
Yeah,
were great.
I wish she did a Blowing Smoke live version. I want to hear her do the outro of that song live, but like I want a studio version of it. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do the Holy Trinity and Me. I want to hear the Me first. So let's do Maria Me on Secret of
Slay.
Us. Secret
So
of
yeah,
Me.
Secret of Me. Yeah. So my me, aka my least favorite song on the album, is Let It Happen.
Okay.
And for me, like I really wasn't a huge fan of like the melody in this song. I found it a little bit abrasive, and it was really the only song that I was like, I think I'm actually just gonna go ahead and skip this one. It was the only one that I skipped only once when I listened to the whole thing, like four times. But yeah, I mean, I'm not really sure what she's talking about here. I wasn't listening to this song in particular like that hard, but I didn't really care for how it sounded, so it's my least favorite.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm not mad about that at all.
Yeah. Another thing too is like her music is like all of her albums have grown so
Grown,
much.
she's the definition of a grower. She
Yeah.
grows, grows,
So
grows.
Yeah,
yeah. So if you don't vibe with it as much, like take time away and come back, and I promise you'll like it more.
I'm sure.
Cool. Let It Happen is gonna be in your top five
All
of
time.
2025. Yeah.
All time, yeah.
All
Okay,
right,
Levi,
Levi.
what's your me?
My me's also easy. It kind of has been the same since the album came out. It's normal thing. It just like it kind of like cuts the momentum of it comes after like a very like strong stretch of the album for me, and then things kind of just come to a halt. I'm not the biggest fan of the production. Um, but like kind of what I was saying earlier, there are moments on it that I love and love, love. Like I love the imagery of that like she was in her room, he was on her screen, one of us was stoned. Like I love that line. I think it's in the first verse. Um I just love the image of that like she's like thinking about him watching a movie of his. Like I don't know what she's watching. Like she's watching The Maze Runner. She's stoned and she's sad. Like I think that's such cool imagery. But yeah, it's just not my favorite.
Yeah,
I don't skip it if I'm listening to the album in full, but I never listen to it by itself. So
yeah,
that's it for me.
yeah. I will go ahead and join you, Levi. That is also my me, is normal
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. I do love in that song when she does I don't know exactly what the lyrics are, but like it's a good time, but I guess I'll see ya.
Yes, I was just thinking that. That's
Oh,
great.
come on. But yeah, it's the production for me. That it doesn't make me like freak out
Yeah.
as much as the other ones. So,
Yeah, agreed. Agreed
but
completely.
yeah.
Well,
Okay. Holy Trinity.
I feel like Maria has normal thing in her
I
mind
feel
for
like
me.
Normal Thing is her number one.
you guys, it's like my fourth song. It
Okay.
got really close to making the top three, though. Um,
Give us your defense of it.
I think the melody in it is lovely. Like I just really gravitated towards like the structure of the song. And it's the here I'm just trying to like remember exactly what it is. Um uh
I
oh
mean, I love
gosh.
the first line. Like, it's a
Where
normal
was
thing to
that?
fall in love with movie stars.
Oh, I like I like the don't worry but I'll see you again. I just like how that flows. So like that like the melodic aspect of the
Yeah.
song I really gravitated towards, so that's like what made it almost like in my top three.
Okay.
So yeah, that was it for me, but it didn't make it, so but I really liked that song.
Okay,
But
what's your three?
my number three is Us.
Uh,
So shout out to Swiftie Nation. But yeah, I mean, like this was one of the moments where I was like, whoa, I feel like I got transported to like a Sufjan Stevens planet, but it's also like Gracie Abrams doing her thing. You know, it didn't feel
There's
like completely
nothing.
ripped.
Yeah.
What?
I was gonna say there's nothing like listening to that song for the first time.
Yeah, no, I really loved it, and it just felt
it grows in
so,
such an interesting way. Like it's
Yeah.
not
yeah.
obvious the way that it's gonna end, I think, when it starts.
It's a very cinematic song in that
Cinematic,
sense.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, yes. Yes. And I think yeah, it grows the way that it swells is like very interesting. And and yeah, I thought Taylor on it was really great and
Oh,
they did really well together and I loved it.
Yeah, they
So,
sound great together. They sound really.
amazing.
That's the thing,
yeah.
I mean, I know shocking me praising Taylor Swift, but She, I think, is an amazing duet partner because she's a blender. She blends
Yes.
so well with almost everybody she sings with. I can't, Drew, can you think of somebody that you don't think she sounds good with?
No.
I mean, like maybe it's like some more than others, but I think she always sounds good with other people.
Was she, Levi is the Taylor Swift historian. Was she like in choir growing up? Like, did she do choir?
Girl, no way.
I don't think she did quite. She's a soloist, mama.
Well, I mean, like in school, like a
She
lot of, like,
No, no,
geez.
I know. I doubt that she would do it. She was in musical theater a lot. And so I think
Yeah,
she I'm sure did a lot of ensemble singing that way. But I know what you
right.
mean about like blending the way that you're supposed to in a choir. As
Yeah,
far as I know, she never was. I mean, because she was only in high school, traditional high school for 2 years.
got it, got it. And it's like, I mean, I all I had to say, I mean, I feel like if you have experience singing in a group, and especially in like more of a formal sense in a choir, it's like you understand how to sing with other voices and how to make your
Yes.
voice match
Yeah.
somebody else's.
And
And
she's a great harmonizer, and the harmonies that
right,
she gives on us are beautiful.
right. And I can't remember what it was. There was like Cynthia Erivo had done a podcast like in support of Wicked, and she talked for quite a bit about her and Ariana's voices being super compatible for each other,
Yeah.
and a lot about the technicalities of like some voices just don't match, no matter how good you are at singing and how good you are with blending with other people. But for them, in that particular instance, it was like a match made in heaven. But I just thought her perspective on that sort of blending and choral sensibilities was very interesting. But that's why I asked. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my number three. My number two is I Love You, I'm Sorry. Um, and like Levi mentioned earlier, like towards the end of the song is where people kind of took it and ran with it on Twitter and was like, this is the worst thing ever, and we hate her and she's bad. So I had only really heard like the back half of the song, and I didn't realize that it starts pretty like mellow for most of it.
Hmm.
Like most of the song is pretty mellow. And I didn't realize that, and I really enjoyed it. Like it was just interesting having heard only the back half first and then hearing the front half, and it's like just like a more, introspective version of the back half. But I really liked it, and I like the more chill version of it. It just made me like it a lot more, like not knowing what all exactly was going on with it. But I think that song's exceptional. And then my number one is I Knew It, I Know You.
Hell yes, Maria.
I the gag that just arose out of the two of you guys. Shut up!
Yes.
Shut up! Yeah, that was my fave.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Maria and her taste this episode.
Maria, you've
Yeah.
never had more taste in your entire life.
Oh my God.
Your
Okay.
your track one, short and sweet.
Taste.
Literally. You leave quite an
Yeah.
impression.
Mm-hmm.
Drew, did
Mm-hmm.
you ever think that would be her number
I
one?
literally, I thought you were about to say good luck, Charlie.
I,
Girl.
well, I would known that was the slowest one, so I knew that that wasn't going to be it. I would have named 5 songs before that one came out of your mouth. I
Whoa.
am the plumber in Gag City right now. I'm in
Yeah,
the
you
sewers
were
of Gag
gagging.
City. Oh my
Gagging.
God.
Yeah.
Love.
We'll talk
Okay,
about
Obs
it.
well, we'll talk. Yeah, talk about it.
Talk about it. I mean, obsessed. I like
Down,
down.
down.
I mean, the end of the song just like
Yep.
shook
Mm-hmm.
shook
Yeah.
me.
Yup.
Yeah.
Incredible. And
Yup.
Yeah.
again, like
Yeah.
this
Yup.
this song though, it feels like and again it's like I'm attributing it to like sensory memories of old summers when I was younger and little and playing outside and like also growing up, and like it has like this tangible environment that comes with it. And I mean she's talking about whatever she's talking about, but like that is what is going on for me from like a sonic level, but then also an immersion level. Like I really felt transported by the way all of this sounded and how it all felt. But yeah, I like what you said about the song earlier, Drew, where you're kind of talking about how it's like a conversation between like her and a friend of like this is something I'm going
Yeah.
through and like this and that about whoever. But yeah, I mean I so enjoyed how the song ends. And that kind
Yeah.
of um the exit of the song is just like it's so fun and it's so cool and I loved it. I thought the song was so great. So that's my take. Yay. I'm so glad I was able to not only be a philosopher on this episode, but also take you guys to Gag City in a way that I never thought I would have been
Gag
able to.
City.
The Secret of Maria. This is incredible.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh,
T.
Okay,
wow.
Levi.
So I want to give a shout out to my number four because my number four was so close to being my number three, but it just got edged out. My number four is close to you. Close to you, the pop smash that Lord
Close to
wishes
you
she
is not in
wrote.
your top three.
I know, we're surprised, we're shocked, but I love Close to You. Love you, Close to You. You're a hit. My number three is a song that makes me very emotional. To me, it's a song that has grown. It was always in like my top half, but it just has grown and grown and grown and grown and grown. And it's so essential to this record for me. It has such a quintessential Gracie feeling, but it also has a new vibe to it, um, especially in the end. And it is Free Now. Free Now is like kind of the real closer of the standard edition, and then Close to You is like the PS. It's like a coda. And I think Free Now beautifully wraps up the kind of narrative of the album. I love the kind of like almost kind of like a funk vibe to it. Like I don't know the right way because it's not funky, but there's just like a rhythm to like the verses and then like that like maybe bluesy is the type. I don't know what the genre influence is, but it's a
It's got
but
that
It,
like
like Americana.
yeah,
yeah,
something
it's
it's like a
really
swing kind
present
of.
in the live version.
Really?
Yeah. I love, have you heard the live version of it?
Yeah. I
It's
mean you've experienced it live.
was no,
Yeah.
I meant on the Vivo.
Oh, was that on the deluxe?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
The
so I lied earlier. I have not listened to the live the live song.
you'll no, but when you listen to it, you'll know. I didn't mean
Okay,
like
I'll
it like
listen.
hearing it live. I meant the Vivo.
Girl,
You're like, yeah, you saw it live. I didn't see it live. Yeah, you
no,
fucking know.
no. I know I didn't want to. I realized earlier that I said yes when I actually hadn't, and then I didn't
You
want to be called
lied.
out, but not purposefully. I was just like, yeah, I've listened to the album, and then I was like, I don't think I've listened to those songs because it's like I know what those sound like, but I guess I'll listen to them now.
Right.
I'm not normally like a big live person. Not if I can't see, I love seeing and listening, but just listening, I'm not normally big. So I'll listen.
There are
I'll listen.
videos.
Well, then
If
oh,
you
because they're Vivo. Okay, then I'll do that.
Vivo.
Anyways, I love this song. I have it
yes.
stuck in my head almost all the time, which is kind of funny. Um, I love like, uh, and I hope you know I don't think you're a bad guy, that you're damaged. Took you 2 months, only two to raise the bar. I love that lyric, and then I love kind of the acceleration of the bridge. It's a pain that I caught you at a bad time. It's a shame that I memorized your outline. Oh my God. You were straight up with me. You were so kind, but I knew what you knew, honey. Great minds. It's so good. And then that outro to me is just God tier.
Yeah.
If you find yourself out, if there is a right time, chances are I'll be here. We could share a lifeline. It's so good.
That's so tea.
So I love Free Now. My number two is the smash hit Grammy nominated song Us. Us is so incredible. I echo so much of what Maria said. I know that Gracie's talked about this too. There's just this like bigness to the song that she's never really done before. There is a
Yeah.
sense of a cinematic quality to it that she's never played in that box before. And I think Taylor kind of helped her unlock that. I mean, we talked about her being a Tay daughter. I mean, this song is Taylor Swift co-write, literally, but I hear the Taylor on this all
Yeah.
over. And I feel like a lot of this song is like her kind of like being like, no, Gracie, like you can color outside of the lines. Like you can do all this stuff in different areas, actually, if you want. And I love how much Gracie goes for it vocally on this song. Like There's such a passion to it. I'm gonna let Drew bring up what I know he's gonna bring up for us. Drew, orange drink if you know you know. I know what you're gonna do. Do you guys know what that reference is?
Yeah, the Jennifer Lopez.
The Jennifer Lopez bodega order. And she goes, orange drink if you know you know. Drew, do you know what I'm talking about though? What the thing that you're gonna bring up? The specific lyric?
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna bring it
So
up. We're
I
good.
know
We're good.
I'm letting you have your moment. I just want to say that I co-sign what he's about to say.
It's your
Um,
moment, have it.
but it's his moment, and like I know that it's his moment, and it's not mine, and it's just not my moment. But I will give some other moments, if you will. We got to talk about. I know you know.
Yeah.
It felt like something old. It felt like something holy, like souls motherfucking bleeding. What the hell, Shakespeare?
What the hell?
What the fuck? Oh, but that's not all. That's not all. No, no, no. If we go to the bridge, fucking these two crazy people trying to say all this crazy ass shit. Curse or a miracle, hearse or an oracle. Like, oh my god, oh my god. And then I'm gonna highlight a line in the outro. Uh, that kind of hit me today on the bus. Mistaken for strangers the way it was. I love that. And then the outline will sometimes do. It's incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love, 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 love us. And then my number one, my favorite Gracie song of all time, a song that's very, very important to me.
Say it.
I knew it. I know you. I called it.
Yup,
That's why I was so
yup,
gagged.
Yup.
Serena, you and I are on
yup.
a up we're on an upwards trend after the few weeks of us being so far apart. I mean, like a prayer, we were literally the exact same match.
Insane,
And then you
insane.
saved the day by not picking Rain as your me last week.
No, 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 no.
And now here we are.
And here we are. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
I'm not gonna
Look
get
at
like
us.
too into it because it's a little personal and um I just don't feel like the general public needs to hear about this, but that I knew what I know you is just a very personal and special song to me. It's a song I've recited in therapy before. It like I mean, Drew can attest to this. Like
It's kind of autobiographical.
it's like she kind of plagiarized a little bit. Probably should sue her ass because like the litigators need to get on the line because when I listened to it, I was like, how does she know this? Like it's just it's uncanny how word for word it is about um an experience I've had. Uh and it has some of my favorite writing ever. And it just I've never heard another song about this topic before. Like this idea of feeling so bad that somebody else is hurting and wanting to fix it, but like knowing that ultimately you didn't do anything wrong and it would be unfair to yourself to say I'm sorry and to try to make it better for the other person and you kind of just have to walk away from it. And it sucks cuz you still have love for the other person and you still care about them, but like it, they're refusing to understand that like this was their doing. And I've never heard a song like this before. I've never heard that concept. It's such a specific concept. I mean, that's one of my favorite things about songwriting is you can feel this thing. You can go through something and be like, I'm the only person in the world who's ever felt this way. And then somebody can put it into words for you to make you understand your experience better yourself. And just the lyrics here, all I did was right by me. I heard that almost killed you. I think that you have earnestly awaited. I think you that you earnestly have waited on apologies. Ah, so good.
It's like
Then
one of those songs when you listen to it, every single line is like,
literally every single line. And we don't even know each other now, but I'd blow all my plans if you'd meet me out. We could talk, we could get it, we could both calm down. And then the
it
outro of all
feels like a
outros.
friendship song to me. It like this doesn't, when I first listened to it, I was like, oh, this is probably about Dylan. But the more that I listen to it, it does kind of feel like a separate thing from the rest of the
Well,
album.
do you want to me it feels like and I ended a friendship from right now on Good Riddance. I've always thought that it's about that person.
Oh, that's definitely what it's about.
Because on Good Riddance, she talks a few times about losing a friendship.
Yes.
And she ended a friendship on the day that she left. And then she talks about it on I think this is what the drugs are for. Is
Yes.
no, is that
No,
the
she
other one
talks
that
about
she
it in
talks
that.
about? Is that what it
Look,
is?
look, now I just lost
Lost
a
a
friend.
friend. Yeah, okay. Um, yeah. Yeah, I think you're right
Yeah.
about that, Drew. And then just the outro is
Yeah.
it's just it almost like it captures a feeling that I don't even know if I can put into words, and I think it would be
No.
unfair to the song for me to try to put it into words. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. Down.
Down.
Down. Okay. Uh my 3 and 4 were also like impossible. So I'm just gonna fucking say my four. My four is the smash hit. That's so true.
I'm shocked
Leaving
that's
it
not in
there.
your. There was a
I
when
know,
that first
I'm
came out, you
shocked
said it was
too.
your favorite ever.
Yeah, I know. It's not anymore. Um, but my number 3, and I think this song is like criminally underrated. I think it's one of the best album openers I've ever fucking heard in my life. It's Felt Good About You.
Let me just
I
say, somebody changed their tune because you were
Oh,
not
did I
sipping the
not like it at
Kool-Aid.
first?
Drew, you said
I
it was a chop at first.
Wait, really?
Yes, you like were
Pull
like,
it up.
uh, okay. I mean, I think it might have been an in-person convo queen, but you
Oh,
were not gagging. Because I think I was like, oh my God, I love this song. And you're like, oh, really?
wait, I are you sure it wasn't Blowing Smoke? Because I remember always liking Felt Good About You. I did not like Blowing Smoke at first. And you were like, girl, this is amazing.
I'm trying to find the tea, girl.
I think it was about Blowing Smoke because I remember the conversation we had about Blowing Smoke, and you were like, this is exactly how you felt about Maroon by Taylor Swift.
Oh, well, maybe it's that.
I think it was Blowing Smoke. I've always liked Felt Good About You. But anyway, that's my number 3. I think it is an insane opener. I don't think it gets talked about enough. It's probably one of my favorite album openers like ever. I think it's so great to like intro you to the story, but it also does kind of bridge the Good Riddance into this album. Like it almost feels like it could have been a Good Riddance, but then the production kind of sends you into this new kind of sphere. It's so good, and the lyrics are amazing. Love it. Also, hearing it live was so good. She opened the tour with it and she performed it behind the LED wall, and you could only see her like mouth on the screen. So you like couldn't see her.
Oh,
It was amazing. It was
that's
very Rocky
good.
Horror. Um so yeah, it and then my number 2, the pain of the flame of the rain of the I got it wrong. The pain of the rain of the flame of
That's your number two?
us. Yeah.
Oh my God. I'm just shocked. I thought that was for sure your number one.
Oh no. No, yeah. Us. Yeah. I also love how something that I've noticed in listening to it so much this week, was how it's the only song in lowercase and it's us, period.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
shoot me in the face. Like, what? But yeah, no, I will never forget listening to that for the first time, levitating. My favorite Gracie lyric ever is the pain of the rain of the flame of. And that was what Leave Out, I
The
think, was
pain
telling.
of the rain of the
Like, that
flame
is
of.
insane that she wrote that, or
The
Taylor
amount of
wrote it, or whoever the
times
fuck.
that's been sent in the group chat is insanity.
And then, I mean, my number 1, I knew it would be Levi's number 1, but I knew it. I knew you is also my number 1.
Shut
I
up!
remember it's the only song like I can't remember other songs. I knew exactly where I was when I was listening to it for the first time.
Me too. I was in
Like
my bed 5 feet away in the dark
I
crying.
was I was on the bus and the down outro or whatever you would call it hit
You were on the
what
bus. Girl, we were texting the night that the album came out.
Oh, well, yeah, you're right. But I remember hearing it on the bus, specifically the day that
Okay.
it had come out. So probably my second or third listen to it. But the listen that I really grasped it was I was on the bus and the downs hit right when I was getting off and like starting my walk.
Oh,
I was like, this is how you levitate. But no, that yeah, favorite Gracie song. It overthrows Full Machine for
Full
me.
Machine. Yeah. Honestly, I feel like Maria, if you liked, especially if I
You would
knew that
like Good
Haley was your
Riddance
favorite,
more.
but I think you would
More?
love the song Full Machine. I think you would love
I
that song.
especially if you love Normal Thing and like your top
Yeah,
three, I feel like Normal Thing gives very good riddance.
that's true. That's
Oh,
true. You're totally right. And you're right about that.
and you're right about that.
So yeah, amazing top three, impossible to choose almost.
I
But
think this is the first time in Pop Girlies history we all have the same number one.
Yeah. Oh my God. Can you guys imagine if I didn't pick it?
But I
well,
never was
and
expecting you to.
us
Ever.
Yeah.
is in all of our top threes too.
And us is in all of our top threes. Just there's one
Whoa.
song that's different in each of ours.
Whoa.
For Maria, it's I already it's what is it?
As I
Oh, it's
love
I
you.
love you, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then
You,
for
it's
me it's
free
free
now.
now, and for you it's
Felt good
felt
about
good
you.
about you.
OMG.
Wow.
Okay, so do we dare rate it? Do we dare pull out the utensils?
That's what we have to. The secret of fork, the secret of spoon, the secret of knife.
I'm going in. Drew
Oh, girl,
Fork
you're
is
not the
going.
first one. Oh yeah, you are. Drew Fork, sorry.
You've
Yeah, do
literally
fork.
done this multiple times.
Well,
Do
you know
fork.
what? I'm sorry. I'm a Dumbo. I don't know what to tell you.
Ratings. Let's go.
Drew Fork, 9.8.
The secret of
Oh,
9.8.
The pain of the reign of the
the
flame
secret of
of.
9.8. Um, so obviously liked it a lot. Much,
Maria
much
gives
more.
it a 5.1.
It's a chop for me. No, I'm gonna give it an 8.5.
Yeah, that's so much higher than I ever thought Maria would give this album.
Yeah.
I was like fully ready to tank this down, down, down. And then
It all changed for me, and I told you.
yeah, no, I surprised myself.
Down,
So yeah,
down.
Levi knife.
Oh, I've been having a really hard time coming up with this because I've been looking. I do this thing where I look at past scores and I regret them. Like, can I be vulnerable with the chat right now?
Well, yes.
Yeah.
I would change my Super 8 score. I think my Super 8 score was too high.
What was your Super 8?
A 9.5.
Oh,
And I think I would give it maybe more like a 9.19 moment. Um,
okay. Well, you can't.
oh my God, okay. Dude, gets scary.
Drew gets
Um,
scary when you're talking about his albums.
literally. But then my least favorite album, my second favorite album of all time, Ray of Light. Yeah, it's okay. And you
Chop.
hate the way she sounds, and you think she's a horrible singer. Yeah, see, he can't even say anything.
Just get to, but Shanti, I mean, come on.
Yeah, Shanti and Dark Ballet, Madonna's best songs ever. 9.7.
Okay.
Whoa.
So average rating of 9.3.
Ugh,
Huge.
The secret
gag.
of Slay. Yeah, that's good.
That's huge. The secret of Smash.
The secret of Smash. She's not a secret of Chop Ho. What did I call a Chop Ho the other day?
Oh, it was so funny.
Was it on the episode?
Yes. It
I
was
think we
really
texted about it, so
funny.
let me look it up because it was something so random. Oh, I called Love Song from Like a Prayer of Chop Ho.
So funny. Oh,
Wow.
it's making me cry. It's so
It
good.
is. And Maria and I are the only people who get it, but it's Chop Ho.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. Well, are we ready to?
Speaking of Maria, Maria, tell us what's happening in
Yeah,
the next few
Maria.
weeks.
Yes. So,
The next few weeks.
well, yeah.
Well, yes,
Oh, yes.
girl.
Yes.
I thought you
So,
meant like our next episode comes out in a few weeks. I was like, oh, I'm
So,
here.
so
hiatus.
you just made that up. because that's just not what I said.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
cool.
Okay, well, don't worry. We're still posting weekly episodes, Pop Girlies Nation. But so
Yeah,
for the
the
next
stock
two,
market was about to crash if they thought that we were doing bi-weekly.
yeah, and we were about to enter another recession because we weren't going to post an episode. But
Prison, honey.
have no fear. Have no
Have no
fear.
fear.
But for the next 2 weeks, we're actually going to be entering a Maria double feature because Mayhem by Lady Gaga is being released on March 7th. And we also wanted to make sure,
Well, why did you start with the second album?
well, because that's why we're changing the schedule. So
Well,
that's
but
why
also not really though, because say the other thing that's happening.
Next
well,
week.
my birthday.
Yeah,
Girl, I put Stephanie above me in that moment. I'm sorry.
You did. As you do all the time.
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah, but well, so okay, so that's the situation though, is next week is my birthday, and then the week after we'll be able to review Mayhem by Lady Gaga. So I'll be hosting the next two episodes, and by hosting I obviously mean like I'm picking the albums. So for I mean that sounded funny. But so for next week, we're gonna be talking about one of my favorite albums of all time, which is In Rainbows by Radiohead. So,
Woo! I'm
yay,
so
very.
excited. Marie, we've talked so much. I really think I'm gonna love Radiohead, and every single time you send me a Radiohead song, I'm gagging. True Love Waits, Gag of the Century.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited for In Rainbows. Also, one of the greatest album covers I've ever seen. Let's
Yeah,
just say that.
let's just say that. It's incredible. I'm so excited to talk about it. It's literally one of my favorite albums ever. I don't quite have albums ranked in the same way that you both do, but it's one of my favorites ever, and I'm so excited about it. And a couple of years ago, I had like a huge, huge, huge moment of like really diving deep into the entire Radiohead discography and listening to all of it and just like really, really being inside of that world for like an entire year. But this album I love so much, and I'm so excited we get to talk about it. And then obviously the week after we're going to be doing Mayhem. So that's what we've got in store for the next 2 weeks. So get into it. Very, very excited. But yeah, that's the tea.
So
That's the tea,
exciting.
honeybee.
Yes. Well, and thank you so much, Drew, for picking this album. So glad we get to
Yes,
talk about
Yeah,
it.
thank you for delving
Sash.
in. I'm so
Of
happy we did
course.
this one.
Me
Yeah,
too.
me too. Me too. Well, Pop Girlies Nation, I'm gonna go pack it up. You know, like the song, packing
No,
it
I
up.
Yeah.
know.
Whoa, no, we got it. That was just a random ass song to choose.
Yeah, that was just a song that nobody had talked about. It was just funny.
Well, yeah, but like the one time I planned the song pun to do silence,
And
crickets.
she tried to say it so quick before we could steal it.
I know, you guys got me stressed after last week. Drew in particular.
Yeah, Drew was greedy ass was taking every
Greedy.
song.
Oh, God. Well, there you go. What do you guys got?
Well, I'm
Good
gonna
luck,
be free
Charlie.
now. Oh,
Oh, good luck, Charlie.
okay. Well, that's it.
Shanti.
Shanti.
Bye.